Okay, everybody, welcome. I'm going to keep this video short. I'm putting out a earthquake slash volcano alert warning, and this started a couple weeks back. I was telling my members on my Discord server here, get a server. You can find the link in the description, the top comment on this video if you want to join. Mostly this server is a membership server that I use for giving my financial opinion, but there's one channel on here called Solar Activity, okay? And then I keep my members also updated on some solar activity as well as natural events that happen on Earth. Anyway, if you look back here on July 2nd, I said, again, I think the chances for a big earthquake are increasing, 7.0 plus, maybe even 7.5. That was on July 2nd. Today, as I shoot this video, I think it's the 14th. I'm sorry, it's the 17th. So that was about 2 weeks ago when I came out with this warning. And I have a methodology that helps me to predict earthquakes, the magnitude, especially the magnitude. Now, I don't necessarily know the location. That's a little far more complex. But I just gave them a heads up that, I thought there was going to be a big earthquake coming. And then 2 days later, we got a 6.9 magnitude earthquake in Tonga. So, almost a 7.0. But I was pretty sure at that time on July 4th, Independence Day here in the United States of America, that wasn't it. That the 6.9 was strong, but that was not going to be the peak strength of hurricane, the magnitude. I felt like there was more coming. It's just based on my methodology of predicting earthquakes. And then I said here on just recently on July 11th, I said we currently have high energy being received into the Earth, and with this, earthquakes and sometimes volcanoes. And then of course, right around that time, we started getting the Iceland fissure and the volcano there in Iceland. So earthquakes and volcanoes quite often happen at right around the same time. And in a moment, I'll talk a little bit about why this is and a theory I have about how this actually all works. Okay. So anyway, the volcano activity started in Iceland. I think the day or two before I put out this little message here in the solar activity channel. And then also on that same day, there was a 6.6 earthquake in Barbuda. And I said, I think we'll see a 7.0 soon as the odds for it are increasing. And then the same day later, this first one was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and almost 12 hours later, I said the tension is mounting for a major earthquake soon as more energy poured into Earth today, and the volcano in Iceland may intensify. Okay, and I put a little link here to one of the guys that has a drone up there in Iceland, and he's kind of tracking that volcano. Okay, just so they could do their thing. Now earlier today, maybe about 15 hours ago, in the wee hours of the morning, I said a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit 106 kilometers away from Sandpoint, Alaska. That's here in the United States. And I went on to say this is almost a given considering the massive amount of energy that's poured into the Earth in the last week and then backed off a little over the weekend. So here's my theory, guys. I've been doing this for quite a while, maybe last year and a half, 2 years. And this is my observation, okay? And I'm almost 100% certain that this is what's happening to one extent or another. This very general theory, right? It's not very specific, but my theory is the Earth gets charged, okay? There's a lot of energy that comes from off-world. A lot of it comes from the sun, but it isn't just the sun. There's activity and there's current that flows across great distances, across the galaxy, across the universe even, okay? And it travels via plasma. And I won't dive too deep into that now, but right now the sun is in solar cycle 25, and it's one of the strongest cycles that we have on record so far. It's a very, very strong cycle. And the so-called scientists, experts, completely missed it. I mean, they missed it by a mile. They said that this solar cycle was going to be mild, just like the solar cycle 24. But they have no idea what they're doing. These people they should not be in the position of being called expert and scientists. They're horrible. But in any case, my theory here is the Earth gets charged and it expands, okay? I'm talking about the charge of the Earth. It actually, think of it as a capacitor, okay, for those in electronics. It takes in a charge and it starts to build up. That charge builds up. The charge is building and building and building. Now, when the energy coming from the sun, and like I said, not just the sun, but I'll leave that conversation for another day about energy outside our solar system, how it impacts our solar system, okay? But as energy comes from our sun and the Earth receives this energy, the Earth just keeps increasing. There's a capacitance, right? The Earth, just think of it as a capacitor. Okay, and it keeps receiving a charge and it keeps building up and building up and building up. But when the sun dissipates, when the energy from the sun begins to dissipate, that might happen over a period of a few days. So you get a ramp up of a lot of energy. It hits the Earth begins to get really charged. And then as the Earth begins to, the energy from the Earth begins, from the sun begins to wane a little bit, there will be a discharge from the Earth, okay? And the Earth will go from expanding to contracting. So the Earth gets a huge charge, it expands, okay? Now this expansion, I don't totally understand the expansion yet. Is it a physical expansion diameter-wise on the Earth? Is it just an electrical expansion? So you don't necessarily have a physical expansion? Is the Earth just stressed in a certain way under these charges? Either way, the charge dissipates, the Earth contracts, the charges contract, and that's when we get earthquakes. We don't normally get it can happen, earthquakes and volcanoes can happen when the charge is really, really high. That can happen too. Okay, but many times it happens after the Earth dissipates the charge. So on the downside of the charge, the Earth begins to contract. It's almost like a stress relief. Kind of think about you being under stress, working out really hard with weights. Your blood is flowing, your skin is all red, you're flush, your muscles are pumping. There's a high volume of energy going on, right? And when you stop pushing real hard on your body contracts, right? It cools down and it contracts. It loses its size. Now, it may not be the greatest analogy, but that's basically what happens to Earth. And when the Earth begins to contract like that, that's when you get the earthquakes, right? Because just think about how large land masses, they expand and then they contract as the charge dissipates. So that's the theory, and I'm pretty sure the theory is really accurate. There's some pieces in there that I'm missing, but that's what's going on with the Earth, okay? So I'm going to finish up this video by saying I believe we're going to see a massive earthquake. I think the odds for it are very high. I'm talking about an 8.0 earthquake, very possible to get up near that number, 8.0, somewhere in that area. It could be a little below it. It could even be above it. So I don't know where this is going to take place. There could be more than one massive earthquake, but I think there's going to be at least one massive earthquake that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 8.0. And I think it'll happen within the next 2 to 3 weeks. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say about the earthquake. And lastly, I'll just say it's also possible we could see more volcanic activity during this, during this phase, right? Usually it's earthquakes, but because Iceland is already very active with its volcano, it's possible we could see an increase in volcanic activity along with a massive earthquake, okay? All right, guys and gals, that's it for now. Talk to y'all real soon again next time.